Okay, pushing feedback, gang, please.
I thought at the very beginning when you were asking the question, maybe a bit more of a structure for it, I guess. Like some sort of tool that maybe would organize the information a little more efficiently.
Yeah, like what are several components of religion like that?
I thought the website had good information on it, but personally I didn't care for the format of it too much. I thought it was hard to kind of, it's just a bunch of bland sort of paragraphs. You had to read through the whole thing to find the information.
I thought that was kind of good actually, because then it forced the kids to kind of get more information. It wasn't too much. You know what I'm saying? Instead of them just like picking out the numbers.
Yeah.
Something I would say is actually that's not a web quest.
Yeah, we didn't say it was a web. We kind of said web quest, I guess, but it was more finding information on the website. I know it's not a web quest, yeah.
All right.
So that's
So
what's responding. I apologize.
Oh, so the thing is, I guess, then something that I would say is, in order to avoid a lot of the things that you saw as possible downfalls, people searching different things, print it off. Have a hard copy, because if it's not going to be a web quest, just give them a hard copy. It's easier to refer back to, and if it's going to be text, and then you can use other materials elsewhere. But if it's just one page or 2 pages and it's not linking to other websites, go ahead and print it off. It's a backup plan in case your internet fails. It's always there. That was the only thing I had to say about that.
And if you do want them to look at other sites, then you could say, here are the search parameters I want you to use, and look up things after you've done the questions. I do think there was a lot of text there, and depending on the level of reader, there might have been a way to break up and say, you guys, I want you to look for monotheistic or polytheistic. I want you to find that piece of information. I want you guys, and it could be broken up into base groups and then expert groups, and then come back and share. I think you're good at asking questions, but I think what was said earlier about helping students consolidate it. And Dave said, "Oh yeah, it's easy. We know what questions to ask. If you create a question frame that just sort of like lays out some of the questions the big questions you want to, and then say, how can we give like a chart that could have been up there, because the board work's a little messy. But if it was put in a chart form, I could be writing it down. I could be getting it down, and knowing that that's important because you spent time putting it up there, and some of the information up there is fantastic. But I wasn't. It was like off the hip, as opposed to that next zing. Here's the key stuff. You're getting stuff from the students, and I wrote down that would have been a wonderful frame. There's your frame, and you could have structured it in that sense and get it down and had it on the Elmo, and it starts to be a little bit tighter. And your questions you're asking then are a little bit more structured. It's the same questions because you're good at it, but that little bit of forward thinking before set you up really well for a really tight lesson.
And you just don't know how easily students can rattle you and get you to where you can't think of those questions off the hip. It happens to the best of it. They just think back to our own studenting, if that's a word. They just can rattle. You never know what might happen.
Especially on a subject like religion, as well, because there's people's beliefs in here. And I may be wrong, but at one point there was a question, and Liz went at some point, and I don't think you caught her. But if I'd have caught that and I was teaching, I'd be like, "Oh crap, I've done something. Something's not resonated there, or I've said something wrong." And it's questioned.
But he also responded to that very well.
Right.
He, was calm and covered it.
Yeah. So the look scared me.